A man drew a circle around an ant in a piece of paper, and the ant wouldn't cross the circle to get out of it. It will not step out of the circle. The man did the same with a spider, and he started drawing around the spider a smaller and a smaller circle until one of the spider's legs slipped out of one of the circles. So the spider noticed that nothing happened if he would get out of it. And that's the same thing that happens to us. We have beliefs that they put limits on us, and we don't know that we can get out of them. And that's pretty much self-imposing limits that we're putting in ourselves, and we never even try to cross the line and see what happens. As a species, we are pretty good at criticizing ourselves. We are very good at living in the past and the future. We like to jump from the past to the future and back, and we skip the present. We don't like to live in the now. And usually, when we're thinking about the past and the future, we're going to the past to remember things that happened to us, events, memories, things that happen that they have a strong emotional impact on us. And those things, they just makes us feel fearful of the things that are coming. We are jumping to the future to be fearful of it for something that happened in the past. Just think of it. We are jumping to the future, and we are fearful of what's going to happen in the future because we have something that happened time ago. And we're not even and let's not even talk about the now. We're completely skipping the moment that is happening right now. So we see the things that happened in the past, we like to see them as things that were wrong and they were bad and we were not good or worthy of those things or good things that we try to get. And then that's going to label or predict our bad future. We have those painful and negative reflections that happen, and we use that to predict what's going to happen tomorrow and the next day or the next year. And sometimes those memories happen 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago, and sometimes even 20, 25 years ago. And yet, even today, they still have an impact on us. They still have power over ourselves. They still can control the way we feel and the way we think and the way we see the future and the way we see ourselves. And this is all based on fear. We have to understand that fear is not just an emotion. Fear is that chain reaction that started 5 or 10 or 20 years ago. It's literally a chain reaction. And that chain reaction, time passes by, you have new experiences, you probably even go through the same experience, but this time you did things well and the results were different. Things were better. But it's more impactful and more emotionally strong the negative sensation that we lived in the past when we failed. That gets stronger in our brain. So even if you relive the same situation, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to change. Sometimes we even minimize ourselves. We belittle ourselves, thinking, "I was just lucky. It's not really that. It's not really that I did it better this time. I was. It just situations were in my favor, or luck was in my favor." So what happens is that even when we do things well, we tailor the words that we're using to describe the situation, to label ourselves, to predict what's going to happen with us. And this affects our choices. This affects the words that we use to communicate and the behavior. And everything is built around the presence of fear. and the communication is based on fear. It's words of fear. This is something that can go on and on and on and on. And when the presence is steady, when we have it for a long time with us and we don't change it, we don't shift the script, when it's been for too long in our lives, it starts to defeat willpower and courage. It belittles you. It makes you feel like you're not good enough. It makes you feel like you don't have the will to make things happen. You don't have the power. You don't have the skills to change things. And it erases courage as well. It kind of destroys the courage that we need to believe that we can change things in our lives. That's how much of an impact it can have. And it happens to the point that we don't we don't even notice it. We get so used to minimize ourselves, to minimize our efforts, our skills, that it just becomes second nature. How can I how can I change this? How can I fight this pattern of self sabotage? But it's mostly based, paying attention, that is based on fear. Well, just one to start is, you don't negotiate with negative thoughts. You have to have the urgency and say, I have to get rid of them. I'm not going to negotiate and think like, oh well, I'm being realistic. You have to be able to catch the magnitude of the urgency to remove that self communication that is not bringing anything good to you, that is just inflicting fear in every situation. That makes it the fundamental thing, and the way you speak to yourself and the way you feel, the way you see things. Everything is based on fear. So you have to start changing that. The second thing is that, understand that fear breaks down your determination and your discipline. Just as it affects courage, is going to affect your determination and discipline. It reinforces a sense of being powerless, meaning it makes you feel like there's nothing you can do. It removes courage, determination, discipline. So you end up in the point where you say, what the hell can I do then? There is nothing I can do. Even if I take action, it's going to be useless. I have no chance. I have no possibility of achieving what I want. What's the point on having goals? What's the point on putting the effort? What's the point on dreaming that I can do something different, that I can become someone different? So it's very important that you notice the things that fear do to you and you start working on that. And the third point, and the most important, is self communication that you have in order to get rid of fear is got to be commanding. It's got to be an order. It's got to be something like you're saying, I am not in negotiations with myself about the fear factor. We got to get rid of this. Period. And you have to be aware of the urgency that it has, that you gotta have about it. You have to, the way you speak to yourself cannot be fearful, cannot be hesitant. I mean, things might not turn out the way you want the first time, probably not even the second or the 25th or the 50th time. If you're an athlete, you know that. But that doesn't mean that the way you're talking to yourself is going to change. You have to keep you have to keep being commanding. You have to be showing your brain and showing yourself that you are the one person in charge of the situation here. That we are going to do the things the way I want them to be, not the way that fear wants me to do it. And even if it doesn't turn out the right way, you're still going to get better and you're going to grow. And if you pay attention, you're going to notice those changes. But you are in charge of this. And as the leader of this of your planet, of your universe, you are the one that has to be in control of it. You want to use the same willpower, courage, commitment, discipline, and decisiveness to shift the script of what's happening. Everything that you use to give permission to fear to control you, all of that you're going to use it, but this time you're going to say, now we're pointing in a different direction. We are in the process of becoming a different person. I am not the same person that I was 2 weeks ago, or 5 years ago, or 20 years ago. And we are doing things differently this way. And that's how you want to approach it. And that's how you want to keep it, because that's the only way you're really going to have any chance of shifting that script, of rewriting your story. Give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.